Welcome back. Happy Halloween, guys.
Happy Halloween.
Still undecided if I'm going to,
What's that for?
I mean, I was going to be Greg Glassman, so I was going to put on a tinfoil hat, but I'm not too sure if that's going to happen today.
Can't breathe in
It's a lot of work, and there's microphones, and this makes a lot of noise, and honestly, I don't know. I don't know how to put on a tinfoil hat, but I've got this, so we're trying to keep the holiday vibes going.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to another little episode of ours talking about tips and strategies for the CrossFit Games Open 20.4. I'm Danny.
Lewis.
Let's start off by closing out 20.3 and talk about some of our successes, our national champions, and our stories from 20.3. Lou, go ahead.
Good week for us. We have 8 people in position to qualify as national champs. Shout out to Will, Julian, Bochi, Carey, all sitting in first place.
Mm-hmm. Brenda as well.
Yeah. And a couple people sitting in second, right in qualifying position. We had some big performances last week. Julian improved his workout significantly from 2018. Finished sub 8, 7:49, I believe. And Brenda, what did Brenda have?
Well, I think the overall story to tell Brenda right now is having her best open of her career. I believe after some points moved around and a lot of penalties were handed out, she's 33rd in the world.
Killing it.
Which, as of right now, up to this point, is the best open she's ever had. On top of that, she is sitting very comfortably in her national champion position. So big props to
You're gonna keep doing
Brenda
that?
Castro. I'm going to try to keep doing it.
Okay. All right.
So we got a lot of thoughts on this workout. This
is a lot. There's a lot to talk about on this one.
Yeah, 20.4, I think there's 2 major things to consider, and it's the addition of single leg squats or pistols.
Big.
Yeah, and also the weight of the clean and jerk at the end of the workout is huge. There's another big piece to consider as well, and it's another long workout.
Very long. For most people, it's a 20-minute workout, and you're either
Correct.
going to be attempting a weight maybe over and over or attempting pistols over and over. So prepare yourself for a long one and mentally get ready for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we just saw even some folks that are arguably the best in the world are very close to it. It was a 20-minute workout for them. So
Yep.
I think for, I know like when we throw the term 99% around, we're normally referring to folks that are not qualifying position for CrossFit Games. But pretty sure what we just watched is going to hold true for still CrossFit Games
For a lot of
athletes.
people. Yeah. Agreed.
And there's certain things that we'll talk about now, like the tie break will be very important, and the warm-up is huge. But we'll get to those things in order. I would like to start talking about the warm-up. As always, warm-up is very important, especially in a workout like this. Activation is going to be key. And when I say activation, I really mean hips, glutes, and lower back. This workout, just like everything we do in CrossFit, moves in a very similar plane. It's a lot of box jumps, a lot of clean and jerks, lots of squats overall. So warming up the hip hinging pattern is going to be huge.
Yeah.
So all of our warm-ups will be posted on this link as well on Instagram. So please follow that. It's a very important piece of this puzzle.
Yeah, I think even more so than the deadlifts last week, you have the potential to see people move very poorly for a lot of reps in this workout. And if you're not careful, that could lead to injury or some just really serious soreness.
Right. If you look closely at our warm-up, what we've designated for the warm-up portion for the clean and jerk, it's kind of loose because, look, we were sitting in the office and we were trying to designate what the correct prescription was for warm-up of the clean and jerk, but I think it's relative. I think it's going to depend on how strong you are. I also think it's going to depend on how efficient you are, because we have some folks that follow our training program that have maxes that are with and sometimes well beyond many CrossFit Games athletes best in our sport. We have people that can clean and jerk and snatch just as much, if not more, than several people in the top 10. However, if you're not repeatable, if you're not efficient, if you're not touching some of those weights regularly, I don't think you should be attempting those weights in your warm-up.
Agreed. Yeah. Like we talked about, a lot of people are going to feel like they need to work up to that last barbell in their warm-up, and that probably isn't true for most people,
Correct.
to be honest. Maybe the second bar, if you feel like you're going to get there to the last one.
Right, so that would be the 275 for men?
Yeah. That bar you can work up to. To be honest, if you're strong enough to clean and jerk 315 multiple times in a workout, a 275 to 315 jump is not that much, and you're going to be plenty warm.
Yeah, I agree. I also think if you're confident at 315, you don't have to touch it in your warm-up.
Yeah.
Because the way that you're going to feel 315 in your warm-up is very different than how you're going to feel 315 in the workout. And most definitely, you have to use how you feel during warm-up as your guide, and you do not want to touch any close to maxes. You want to take it by feel. I would have someone watch you, and the second it looks like you have a grindy lift, you need to stop, in my opinion. Also, doing some full or squat cleans are going to be important, and warming up your jerk is going to be very important. And if you learn something from watching those three men do the workout, some of them, it looked like that was their first heavy jerk on the floor. So most definitely, whatever your preferred method of jerk towards the ladder bars will be, I think it's going to be very important that you warm up with that during the lifts.
I agree. I think there's a lot to warm up. People are going to focus on their ankle mobility because of pistols. They're going to warm up box jumps. They're going to warm up for the clean and jerk. But by the time you get to those heavy weights, you have done 50 clean and jerks, and the majority of them will probably be push presses or power jerks. So if the first time you're doing a split jerk is on that weight, you're probably going to have a hard time.
Yeah.
You need to warm that up quite a bit before.
So really take time and read the whole workout and unpack everything. Don't take the box jump for granted. Don't take the pistols for granted. Don't take the clean and jerk for granted. This isn't a workout that I would say for everyone. Like I'm not gonna say it's about the box jumps because the box jumps are the majority of the reps, or the pistols because they're the majority of the reps, or the clean and jerk because it's heavy. I feel like it's evenly dispersed amongst the three exercises really well.
Well, yes, it is. I agree. I also do think that everyone is going to get through the first clean and jerks and the box jumps. It's almost 2 workouts.
Right, correct.
You are either going to be limited by pistols or a heavy barbell.
Absolutely.
That goes for everyone.
I agree. Lewis, let's talk about pistols a little bit.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Pistols, dude, you guys either have them or you don't at this point. If you don't, it's about maximizing your opportunity to get them. That may mean weightlifting shoes for you. It may mean an extra 5 to 10 minutes on each ankle doing calf stretches and ankle mobility drills. But you either have them or you don't. So, if you're one of those people that is saying, maybe I get my first one here, then you have to give yourself time to get there. You have to make sure you do the due diligence in your warm-ups before.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a candidate for someone that's going to struggle, spend a lot of time on pistols, I would most definitely recommend that you push yourself to an uncomfortable pace in order to maximize the amount of time that you spent there. Almost, for those folks, almost consider that like our traditional open muscle-up workouts, where you need to race outside of your pace in order to spend more time with something that makes you feel uncomfortable.
For general class clients, every single pistol rep you get will separate you on the leaderboard.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
Now, on the other end, even if you are confident in pistols, take the time to warm them up. Doing 10 pistols is not a pistol warm-up.
No, absolutely not.
That doesn't count, and I know a lot of you guys will do that. Do more mobility work. Make sure you warm up your pistols. The last thing you want to do in this workout leading into heavy barbells is perform pistols and then have your back be in an overextended position because you didn't warm up properly.
Right. Another big thing to talk about, which are box jumps. The standard of box jump is not one that we've seen for many years. And to be honest, as a training program overall, it's not a style of box jumps that we advocate anywhere. When they come up in a competition setting, we have to prepare for them. But in our training year, we don't normally train or advocate rebounding box jumps ever. It's not something I like. Not our program in particular, but our sport as a whole. We've experienced tremendous amount of Achilles injuries and tears over many years. You see them in some change of direction drills and sprinting, but mostly in rebounding box jumps. To be honest, I thought our sport was going away from that, but obviously we're not.
Ben Smith's old school.
Yeah, so especially for those of you guys who are not familiar with the term rebounding box jumps, if you watch the first couple minutes of the workout, you see the technique that Ben Smith is using. Sean Sweeney did it as well, but way more so Ben Smith. Those are like the OG Fight Gone Bad style box jumps. If you are comfortable with those, and if that's something you have trained before, that is more than likely what you should be doing in the workout just to be more efficient and to save time. If you have never practiced rebounding box jumps, today is not the day.
Yeah, I will say like you said, if you've never done them, don't do them today. And just to use Ben as an example, Ben did the first portion of the workout, the box jump and lighter clean and jerks, at right around 6 minutes.
Right.
It took him 7 minutes to get to the last barbell, and that took him almost 4. So in the big picture, how much time are you saving by rebounding? Maybe 20 seconds a set.
Yeah.
So you're talking about maybe a minute. If the last bar is taking you 4 minutes, maybe going a minute slower isn't that bad.
I would also consider looking at the box jump as almost a trap. Breathing is going to be very important. Just because rebounding feels faster, if that takes you outside of your normal breathing pattern, that's not something you want to do today, right? You want to make sure that your breathing is regulated throughout the entire warm-up, and the whatever technique and whatever your pace is going to be for the event should be comparable in your warm-ups. Something major to consider as well is stepping up. Stepping up is okay.
Works.
However, read the standards very carefully, because you cannot step up on the from the corner of the box. So if you are a candidate for stepping up or jumping up, you have to jump box facing, not from the corner.
I believe step ups, the scaled version also has box jumps, step ups for most of you.
Yes. Okay. Lou, let's talk about your pacing. What should it feel like in the clean and jerk?
Look, we do a lot of what we call battery work. We do a lot of repeated efforts at heavy barbell. For those of you that have been following our program, you're gonna know what your pacing should be on this. For those of you that don't, and this is your first time doing something like this, I mean, we've seen it in other open workouts. You should kind of know what it's gonna feel like, but it's going to be a bit slower than you think. Everyone looks at that and goes, 5, no big deal, a minute.
Right.
Not gonna happen. Again, unless you're top of the top, that's not in the cards for you. You should plan on taking slightly longer rest, maybe unbuckle your belt or unstrap your belt in between, get a couple good deep breaths, chalk, try to bring your heart rate down, and then go.
I think a big thing to talk about is use of shoes as well. Yeah. Depending on what your weakness is going to be and where you're going to spend the most time is where you should consider maybe putting on shoes in the middle of the workout or wearing shoes throughout the entire workout. I don't necessarily think there's a right or wrong answer here. Someone like Ben Smith, who had like a great split time and a great tie break, he had time to put on his weightlifting shoes. I didn't notice if he put them on or not. I didn't notice if he was wearing them, to be honest with you. But if I was coaching someone like that who had a great split, I would absolutely advocate that they put their shoes on at some point.
I mean, look, if you're doing step down box jumps, you can wear them from the beginning. If you're rebounding, it's probably going to mess you up. However, you do have the time. You really do have the time in this workout. Putting on your shoes does not take that long, and that the last bar or the second to last bar is going to slow you down no matter what.
Right. So, let's close this out with some final thoughts. Again, I think tiebreakers are going to be really big on this workout.
Read the standards. Know the rules for tiebreakers.
Right. So the tiebreakers are at the end of each set of box jumps and single leg squats. Okay, and for many people, you're really going to treat this workout like an AMRAP for the most part, depending on what your weak point is going to be, whether it's the clean and jerk or the pistols. Okay, another thing, like Lewis already mentioned, I think is really big. You probably want to approach this and treat this like 2 separate workouts.
Yeah.
I think that's a very good strategy. And last thing is, what are your thoughts on repeating this? Is this one that's repeatable?
Look, they're all repeatable. We've seen athletes do this for long enough. We know people are going to repeat everything. We want to try to minimize that. To be honest, on a workout like this, unless there's a reason for it, unless you seriously messed up or it matters for your open placement, get back to training. Don't risk hurting yourself on this one.
Right. Now, if you are in contention for a national championship spot or qualifying for the CrossFit Games as an individual, everyone needs to be in the position and the mindset where they're repeating everything.
Yeah, which means right after this workout, you're going into recovery mode.
Right. Now, everyone else, this is not one that you really need to spend time repeating. Okay, for speaking to all my national champions and people that are in contention spots, if you feel like when you start the workout, if you're not in a great place, this is definitely one you could stop early on in and start again later on in the day. If you don't feel like your warm-up went well, if you feel rushed, this is one that you want your first attempt to be a good one.
Like we said, you're going to be limited by pistols or a barbell weight. Unless you feel like you're going to get better at pistols from Friday to Monday or all of a sudden be way stronger, why repeat?
Yeah, I agree. For more information on our training programs, you can check out www.teamsoultraining.com. Is it under me?
I don't know.
Is it over me? Can you put it over Lewis's
Do it in
face?
post.
Yeah. You'll see it on here somewhere. Follow along with us on Instagram, on all of our social media channels, CrossFit Soul and at Team Soul.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Good luck.
Whoop whoop.
Damn.